Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another episode of Coach's Collection. I'm recording this off of a fresh win from a Archon chainbound evening. And the theme this evening was you had to, in the spirit of Halloween, bring a deck that had witches and demons and or to the night. Yeah, and I didn't have the most, but I had, I think, the average, which was 6. I had 5 demons, 1 witch, and it was actually happened to be the very first deck I ever opened, a Coda deck. And I hadn't visited that deck in a long time, so it was really fun to do some chainbound with it, especially in a thematic way. And it's not the most powerful deck, but it does things, and it does things well. So I really enjoyed visiting it again, and I think I even have like I may have cracked 15 games with it tonight, which was great. But going 3-0, I did win a leaderboard deck, and this is Morn Crawdad, store leader with Saurian, Untamed, and Logos. And in this deck, it does have some interesting things, including the one alt art card I was missing, which is Unnatural Selection. I now have them all, I believe, that are available, so that's pretty cool. So let's go through this deck in general. We got a Witch of the Wilds, Vineapple Tree, Mimicry, Flaxia, Unnatural Selection, Tintatalin, Song of the Wild, Rusnar, Key Charge, Ghost Hawk, Cauldron Boil, and Bramble Lynx. And then in Saurian, we have a Compass, Horus Pex, a Tribune Pompatus, 2 Aredo Hisaros, Draco Praco, City State Interest, Centurion Stenoponus, Tricerian Legionary, Tribute, Perfectus Ludo, Imperium, and a Brudon Auxiliary. And then on to Logos, we have an Entropic Swirl, my favorite action card in the game, 2 Seismo Entanglers, a Memory Chip, Twin Bold Emission, Titan Guardian ×2, Tau Tau Vapors, 2 Sani Engies, a Information Exchange, and then an Edai. So the stats are, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 creatures, with the majority looking in Saurian. And then for pips, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 pips, so light on the pips. But here's something that's really cool, is the Witch of the Wilds obviously is really neat, especially with the Mimicry. You got Flaxia, Song of the Wild. I could see being really powerful with Witch of the Wilds. Wild there. Ghost Hawk into Bramble Link seems really nice. I mean, I think you might be able to pull off somehow between the Flaxia and everything, Song of the Wild, a Key Charge, and Ghost Hawk. I think it's possible. Each friendly creature's play effect is a play reap effect, so let's count that up, because that's the first thing. I've never had a good Compass Haruspex deck, and I think I got it here. Flaxia, 1. Ghost Hawk, 2. Aredo Sorrow, 3. Another one, so that's 4. 5. 6. So, yeah. That is something else. That is extremely impressive. I am super stoked to see how this deck actually plays. But what I think is really cool in this deck, as I said, is in the dinos. So let's just take a quick peek here. So I'm liking Tribune Pompatus with the Aredo Hisaros and Compass Haruspex, that all coming into play. And you can make your creatures real big, real big. So I can essentially, I guess I could do it like this, put them next to one another to daisy chain them a little bit more, like do one and then one next to the other one. You get to play Reap with Haruspex, which just seems really tight. And then you have Centurion Stenoponus, so you are getting to have the double thing. So for every time you Reap and Exaltus, it gets +5 power. That seems pretty good. And then you have Ludo. So what my thoughts are is you're obviously going to tribute and stuff, but when you get these pinatas on board, which I foresee being a thing, is then you just go, oh, hey, let's Unnatural Selection. Save your Ludo, get rid of all those Ember pinatas, and just pitch them. Get rid of all that Ember that's exalted. Especially if you think your opponent has board. I mean, obviously your opponent doesn't have answers, that's one thing, but if you see they have answers, so Nature's Call, board wipes, those sort of things, yeah, this can be a good way of surpassing that issue and just getting rid of your pinatas. I love double Seismo entanglers. If you get them both out, you can really hamper your opponent. I mean, I guess you don't really need to do more than one, but if they have some house cheating stuff, it could work. Memory chip is really nice as well in here. The double Titan Guardian, I think, could be very, very handy for what you want to have happen in this deck. I'm also liking the Ed Eyes, putting Ember on it, making it bigger. Possibilities, Tau Vapors. Yeah, I'm just liking. I think this deck is super neat. I think it has some really cool stuff in it. Excited to finally finish off the leaderboard collection. What was the Ember control like though? So we got 1, potentially 2. Forgot to count that. 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6 cards. I mean, if you count, I count this more as disruption than Ember control. So 6 cards, a little bit in every house. That works out okay. Pretty cool. But I foresee Dinos being where it's at, and maybe Logos too. I don't know. It's a cool deck. I mean, I'm excited to test out a few times and see what happens. My last few leaderboard decks have been really awesome. This set has been way better than the first set of leaderboard decks I got. So thanks for tuning into this. And as always, folks, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. And let's just take a look at that art one last time. Here it is. Have a good one, folks.